What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the rest of the reveals from the Structure Deck Dark World 2 Electric Boogaloo, whatever you want to call it, that is going to be coming out pretty soon. And I have to say, well, the first round of cards were really cool. These might be even better, so let's jump into it. Alright guys, thanks so much for checking out the channel. I always appreciate it. I'm sorry I've been inconsistent. I'm really trying. I'm recording a bunch of videos at the same time I'm recording this one, talking about new stuff, so just bear with me. I promise I am trying my best, but I am working on some other projects in the loop as well. And so, yeah, if you guys do enjoy the content and the conversation, please hit the like button and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want. It does keep you up to date, notified with when new videos are posted. And when we do giveaways and stuff, it might be good to know. Make sure you're right there in the loop with everybody else. So, I did a video talking about the original Dark World stuff about 2 weeks ago, give or take. And it's definitely one of those videos that, like, I was pretty excited about because Dark World has always been a fan favorite archetype, and I've always thought it was really fun to play. I tried to build it with Dangers back in 2020 during the pandemic era. Didn't really get all that far just due to the fact that it had a lot of inconsistencies, but some of these new cards seem to fix a lot of those problems, which is definitely exciting. So we've got 3. I'd like to think this is the end of it, but I'm not sure if there are any more. I guess we'll find out in the coming days. If there are, I'll cover them. But let's jump into the actual video here, starting us off with Genta, Gateman of Dark World. It is a level 4 Dark Fiend that says you can discard this card, add one the Gates of Dark World from your deck to your hand. If this card becomes banished and you control a Dark World card, you can special summon this card. Then you can only special summon Genta, Gatekeeper of Dark Worlds, once per turn. So you get a Searcher for Gates, which is awesome because it's a good card. You could search it with Snow, but having to use your Snow search on Gates isn't always ideal. This is a 1-for-1 exchange, and getting this engrave and then being able to banish it off of Gates will not only net you a draw, but it'll also get you a body on board, which can really set you up moving forward with combos. And of course, that second effect is not exclusively limited to being banished with Gates. There are a lot of different cards that banish, and being able to utilize this for that purpose and special summon it back is definitely an added bonus. I think this would likely be a 2 of in the deck, perhaps. It's not a hard once per turn for that Gates search, thankfully. Most of the searchers that discard to search a specific field spell have never really been a hard once per turn, but as we move forward in the game and effects get a lot stronger, we have seen them add more restrictions, so I'm glad they didn't do that with this. I do think Dark World really need the help, and making too much of a restriction would definitely be something that you know, we would not want to do. So, Genta is pretty cool. It's nice to see a Searcher for Gates, which is a really good field spell for the deck, and is sort of one of your de facto draw engines. I'm going to say pretty good, not amazing, but definitely a solid inclusion for the deck, and another Dark World name. It doesn't do anything if your opponent discard or you discard it by card effect, but that's not really its purpose, so I'm sort of maybe 1 of is better as I'm just going along live thinking about this as we go through Versus 2, because while I do think it is pretty good to see early, it could be a bit of a dead draw later in games. Pearl, Hermit of Dark World is a level 1 Dark Fiend that says if this card is discarded to the graveyard by card effect, you can target a Dark World monster in either graveyard except this card, special summon it to either field. Then if this card was discarded by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one of your Fiend monsters that is banished in your hand or in your graveyard to either field. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, it can be a double revive or a single revive, but what's cool about it is it's another way to make Ceruli live. You can get a Ceruli on the opponent's field, and because it's special summoned by a Dark World, you then force, yourself to discard something which can trigger your effects better. What's cool about this is that if it is discarded by Ceruli or another Dark World monster or a card that makes it so that your opponent's effect is what's triggering it, you can then also revive one of your banished fiends. Let's say your Grapha gets called by the grave or something, you can bring it back from the banished zone. There's a bunch of different ways to make it work, and so it is cool to see it is a 1-for-1 sort of revive, or a 1-for-2 revive in certain circumstances. That means it's useful on its own, but combos well with other things. Again, because there's so many different Dark World cards, it's hard to say what number this would see play at, but it's definitely a good card, and one that I think does help the strategy moving forward. Now, Dark World Library is actually kind of insane. It's 2 effects in one here, and they are both really, really powerful. This is a continuous spell with some awesome artwork for the record. I just wanted to point that out. It's what I used for the thumbnail. You see the Dark World Grimoire in the background there. Just a cool overall. And then you got Gren, the, you know, utterly useless card with some neat art. And those of you who watch GX would remember from the show. Of course, neat little throwback there. But that's not what we're here for. During your main phase, you can discard one Dark World monster. And if you do, all Dark World monsters you currently control gain attack equal to that monster's level times 100 until the end of this turn. That is an effect. Note the semicolon, which means the discard is an effect, which means it would trigger any Dark World effects. But what's cool about this is you could pitch a Grapha to buff all your Dark World monsters and then get a pop. This is just going to allow you to kind of get your pieces going. But that first effect alone would not be enough to, you know, warrant playing it. The second effect is what puts it over the top, and it says if your monster, whose original type is Fiend, is discarded by the effect of a Dark World card or an opponent's card, even during the damage step, you can discard one card, then draw 2 cards. Again, all effect. So not only can this card's effect trigger its secondary effect, meaning if you discard, say, Grapha with this, and then you give the attack buff to monster on the field, you can then discard another card and draw 2, which is still a card effect, so you're able to trigger a bunch of your Dark World cards while also replacing cards in your hand. However, if you think about using this with something like Brow, you can discard Brow, you get a draw, then you draw 2 more, then you get another card off of Brow. There are just some insane combo potential with this card, specifically because not only can it trigger its own effects, but you can basically, I mean, it also works against, like, your opponent, so if they make you discard or you're playing something that would make you discard that, I don't know, isn't, you know, necessarily a Dark World card, but if they make you discard something else, you can still get the draws. Obviously, it can combo with certain things, but generally speaking, this is like Dark World Dealings works with this, Grapha works with this, any of your main deck Dark World monsters work with this, especially the ones that replace themselves, because then you can really fix your hand and load up your graveyard at the same time, which is an overall awesome package of things. So I think Dark World Library is really, really good. I'm actually going to be working on putting a deck together for this, because now that we have all the cards revealed, unless there's more, but I really don't think there will be, now that we have all the cards revealed, I'm really excited to sort of see what I can work with. I hope we get this as a structure deck, because it would definitely be a lot cooler to not have to, like, piece this out and overpay on certain pieces, but who knows? They've been a lot less generous with the structure decks as of late, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what they decide to do. So let me know what you guys think about the rest of the Dark World cards. I definitely think the deck seems cool. These look competitively playable. I don't know that it's going to be some kind of tier 1 dominant deck, but I definitely think with the right players and the right cards, it could work, and I'm honestly pretty pumped overall because it looks like the Dark World structure deck continues the trend of giving us good fan-favorite retrains of structure decks. I know some people are, you know, hit or miss on Crystal Beasts. I definitely do think that deck has more good than bad, but I understand, you know, from a perspective of, like, Crystal Beasts aren't going to be winning any tournaments anytime soon. Let's not forget Dark World has been meta in the past and definitely has potential to get back there if these cards work, you know, in execution as good as they look on paper. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.